Are you getting ripped off, or do you know a deadbeat dad?
What we've got is a lot of people calling through. Guy's from Borrellan Point. Guy, what is your child support story, mate?
A few years back, my eldest son ran away from home, his mother's place, come to me. He had my youngest child. I had the oldest child. My child support went from $140 a week to $240 a week.
Why?
For every deadbeat father out there, there's 5 deadbeat mothers using the system to abuse the children, and we never hear about the deadbeat mums. We only hear about the deadbeat dads. But it's
Well, it
not
doesn't.
the system game.
Right. And so a child came back to you and your child support went up. That's what you're saying.
I don't get that.
There you go. So,
He was on a pension, and I was out interstate truck driving, and I was making a lot of money, and they just wanted to make a system because he ran away. And they're not supposed to run away from hostile parents. They're supposed to stay there and deal with it. So child support just made an example of me again.
Is it still going, Guy?
They're over age, but she destroyed any relationship I'd ever have with my children. All I'm supposed to do is say yes, and if I try and be a parent and say no to them, they don't talk to me. I've got 2 granddaughters. I haven't seen either one of them. And I have 2 sons that I have nothing to do with. They played me for 20-odd years. I got to a point where I just said, I don't want to know you. I've had enough. I can't deal with you anymore.
Whoa.
Thank you, Guy.
There's a person that paid his child support and got nothing for it.
Nicole of Strathpine, what's your story?
Well, my story is my son's father's been in and out of jail since my son was born. My son's only 3.5. I put in a child support claim about 12 months ago. It took them probably the better part of 9 months to sort of get anything going. I now am meant to receive the minimum weekly amount, which is $8.05. To put it into perspective, my son's in full-time childcare. That cost me $98 a day before the benefits kick in.
Yeah.
So the weekly amount I get doesn't even cover, a ninth of that. I'm still not getting it. I rang child support last week, actually, because I got a letter from them. I know for a fact my son's father is actually out of jail and working full-time in a trade, earning probably about 80 grand a year.
Can they get him?
Well, I said to them, why aren't we adjusting the payments that I'm getting? And they said, well, we base it on your last tax return, because I've always been a stand-up person, work full-time, done, whatever I need to do to support my child. I earn a decent salary. So my last year's tax return was fairly decent. His was only 20-odd grand. So they based it on the last tax return. So I said, okay, well, next tax year when they put in the next one, I said, will I get it back paid? And they said, no, legislation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not government, it's not taxpayers funded payments that we're getting. The child support is from the other parent, whether that's the mother or the father. Why is it not back paid? He helped create the child, but I get nothing for it. And said, child support just stand behind the legislation.
Nicole, do you keep hearing these stories from other people that a lot of times the dads will get cash jobs or don't want to have any declarable income so they don't have to pay the mum?
Oh, absolutely. But as the last caller said, it happens both ways. There's a lot of deadbeat mums that they just... I've often thought this, bugger it, I'm just going to quit my job, go and live with my parents and not work and get as much money from the government. But not all of us are like that.
You're proud.
I had 6 months mat leave. I went back to work. I work my ass off to support my son so he can have all the advantages in life.
I like you.
Yeah,
well,
keep going, Nicole.
good on Nicole. You're a solid citizen. Thank you, Nicole. Roy is from Victoria Point. Now, Roy, here we go. You used to work for the Child Support Agency. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And you wanted to tell us something. What is that?
Yeah, there's 2 sides to every story. I worked in a specialist area, and 70-75% of the debts that we worked to recover were largely owed by women. Now, we're not talking small debts. We're talking $30,000, $40,000.
So do you mean women who aren't paying for their side of the child support?
Yes.
Yeah, it should just be deadbeat parents. I don't think it's a dad
not
thing.
deadbeat dads.
I think
No,
anyway, keep going, Roy.
And a lot of these parents, it comes down to, and this is where the Child Support Agency is flawed, and I actually left because of my own morals. A lot of these parents use it as a financial tool or a bargaining tool in regards to custody.
Oh, righto. Financial to buy emotion.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
that's what they do. All right.
I'm not going to let him or her have access if they're not going to pay child support. And then the other side of the story is, well, I'm not going to pay child support if you're not going to let me have access.
No one gets anywhere.
Yeah, what
Thank
about
you.
the kids?
Roy, they must have been so depressing, eh?
Absolutely.
Doing it for Westport.